with the tour reviews and reviews. Back in here with one more video. Joined today by a very special new guest. Evelyn.
Love to be here. Happy to be here. That was a lot. I'm glad you guys appreciate. It's media telling them to do these certain things, and it's really men perpetuating these things.
Women would lie no matter what.
What I'm not gonna let you do, I cannot sit here and let you make that statement.
Why not?
You lie about women lying no matter what.
People lie. Men and women lie.
Okay, I agree.
However, women are way more covert in their communication.
It's the covert for
No,
me.
they are. No, they are.
It's a mission for me. You're right.
Am I tripping though? Did I just make that up?
We are better.
Oh, so you're gonna turn the word covert to better?
No, I agree with covert. I'm laughing at it because now I'm thinking about like being on a mission. But
I like some Splinter Cell shit.
Right.
Some Metal Gear Solid shit.
Yeah, but no, I just feel like we are better at it.
You're more covert. So, okay. So we're saying the same things, but you would disagree with me when I say that women will lie.
You said we'll lie regardless.
Yes.
Now, when this lying happens.
But, well, listen. Well, they will lie because a lot of you guys are judged off of a lot of standards within society. So you have to lie in order to. A lot of it's created by women. Women was the first person. A woman would be way more apt to call another woman a hoe than a man would.
I don't have the data.
Oh, so now you don't have the data. Even think from an anecdotal perspective, because I can think of many anecdotal occasions where women would be more quick to call another woman a hoe than another woman.
You know what that is? Internalized misogyny.
From the woman?
Yeah. Like nobody would call.
Listen.
Women would not call women hoes if men didn't declare a hoe a certain thing.
No, it's also they call them hoes because they want that woman to be lower in the hierarchical standing
based
of woman.
on the patriarch or the male gaze.
No, it's not the
based on the male gaze.
Okay, so I have an issue when you say the patriarch.
That's why I took you back.
Okay,
and I said male gaze.
Yes, based on the male gaze, but the male gaze is important. Let's not act like it's not important for relationships because the man has a choice as well.
I didn't say it wasn't. I'm saying that is based off of males picking and choosing and what you guys decide are the standard. That's what I'm saying. Because
we control relationships.
Women who are saying you're a hoe because men are saying this is what I consider a hoe. And women are like, I want to be chose. So I don't want to be a hoe. And I don't want you to be a competitor. So I'm going to shame you for being a hoe because that's less likely to get you chose. But again, men are creating the idea of what a hoe is.
I think I understand your point, but here's the thing: is that number one, you have to respect how men summarize their opinion of hey. Okay, so regardless of what that is, and I think like what has entered into this modern topic is that women should and can have as much experiences as a man, right? And it's not considering the biology. It's not considering the evolutionary differences between us, the sexual dimorphism. It's not considering any of those different things. And it's just saying, well, what's the difference between, men and women? And there's far differences in the way that we think about things, in the chemicals that generate in our body. You have an innie, I have an outie, right?
I'm not doing
there's a lot of different differences. So to think that we shouldn't be regarded you can give birth, I cannot. Mm-hmm. So to not think that our sexual escapades should be regarded differently, I think is short-sighted.
Men are entitled to how they perceive information, right? So,
but it's important.
I'm not saying it's unimportant.
Okay.
I'm saying that is what women are basing it off of, not other women. And I'm also saying that it's okay if what men could be deducing women to, or deducing like a hoe to, could have exceptions, right? Like, she is a hoe if her body count is this, that, and the third.
Mm-hmm.
But you can meet a woman, right? Like, for example, you don't know if I'm a quote unquote hoe or not right now, right?
No, you're married. You're not a hoe. No, I know you're not a hoe. Well, here's a part of my point is that the word is very subjective. I do think that it is a very subjective term. And in fact, there's a lot of young ladies who get labeled the term that are actually not the term. But the term is also very subjective depending upon the man that you actually ask. Like, there's some men that would say that if you're not a virgin, right? And there's other men that will say that if you're like, 30 with like 10 bodies deep, right? Like, so, and I say like, it's just a random, right? So, but it's a label that can be exacerbated depending upon the particular man and the particular woman. And then that there's women that will put that label onto women in an attempt to demonstratively decrease their standing in the dating marketplace.
Agreed.
Studies will show that the more bodies that you have, the less likely that your marriage will be successful. The more bodies prior to the marriage.
But again, we know that data is skewed because people will lie.
It could be a multi-factor. It could be other things within that, and correlation never equals causation. But the studies were done.
And they said the more bodies you have,
they linked the body count to the and they did it over a sample size. They linked the body count to the chance of divorce. And there's also a term called pair bonding. And that term, in essence, and I'm paraphrasing because I'm not an expert on this shit, besides just having a YouTube channel. But the idea is that so when you gave your virginity away to whatever young man.
I don't use away. I didn't give anything away.
When you lost your virginity.
I didn't. Okay.
When you became unvirgin.
Okay. I'll do.
The first time your viscous innards were plundered. Okay. When that happened, you more than likely formed a strong and concrete bond with that person.
I did not.
Oh? Generally, on average, most women will form a strong and concrete bond with the first person, and then the subsequent bonds after that will decrease by some factor.
Where are we getting this from?
This is experiences and field studies of over 35 years of living.
In your life. Where are we getting this from? It's like, how many versions? You're like, they're still on my phone.
So are you telling me that women in general, in mass, in aggregate, on average, are not more connected to the first man that they had sex with?
No.
You guys heard it here first.
And I think it depends. You heard it here first. From Evelyn's Bay. On 29 years of research. And
first time I've ever heard that.
Listen, I am a woman who has female friends. Nobody's like, man, but that one time I lost my virginity, can't wait to go back.
But not the one time, the person, the human being.
Yeah, they're not like, I feel so much more connected to him than any of my future sexual partners. Like, no. Nobody is saying that.
Did they lose their virginity to someone that they were vastly interested in, or they just lose it to lose it?
I will say typically people do because you want to feel comfortable in that space, but let's not get into, we won't get into other, but typically you lose it to somebody, I don't like using lose. Typically you engage in your first time with somebody who you care about. But you're young. That's why I said it depends on what age that you engage in your first sexual encounter, and it depends on how you view sexual encounters.
So listen, okay, I concede the point if that's your truth. Okay, I concede the point. And
but have you talked?
No, I'm speaking to you. You're telling me.
But I'm saying I'm curious. In your circle of
I've dealt with women in that age range, and they seem to get ridiculously emotional regarding the man who they lost their virginity to during in that age range, and I'm thinking of it, and I think the subsequent sexual experiences after that have been way less emotionally invested and involved, and then you get to a point where women can have unemotional sex with people and just carry on. And and to a degree, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm saying be whoever you are, amount to what it is that you want to amount to, do what you want.
The tea is men don't really value a virgin.
Talk to me.
Because again, if we want to talk about relationships and somebody that you are doing for the rest of your life, you don't want to be that girl.
Wait a minute. I think this is a common. So I just went over something you think it was a common misconception for women. Let's go over something that's a common misconception for men. Men, we don't care what you didn't know before you met us.
But
what you did or you didn't know.
That's why you asking about body count.
No, men care if you are for the night. Men don't care if we want to take you to the promised land and back. If that's the case, we will teach you everything that you need to know.
Assuming that you know what to teach us, because you don't.
What? Why would a man not know what he finds desirable?
No, you can know that. Okay. I'm saying you can know that. Mm-hmm. But you don't know what else I can show you.
So you're saying you don't know what else that you can show me because you've learned what else you can show me elsewhere?
Yeah, or exploring your own body or through other people. Yeah. Men
don't care.
Well,
and that's the thing. And that's why we got to have these conversations, because men in general don't care. In general, we can teach you all the things that you need to know, and we can explore it together, and we can form a bond together in knowing how to within each other.
Yeah, but
because we're bonded.
Correct. But what if that person doesn't have the capacity to meet you where you feel fulfilled?
Well, that has nothing to do with her messing with Jerome a month ago. That's got nothing to do with it. If she don't have the capacity, she don't have the capacity. But maybe we can have communication and talk about how we can leverage her capacity or expand her capacity. That's a better word for it. How to expand her capacity. But because she was chilling with Tom, Dick, and Harry a year ago, right? And she knows a trick or two, doesn't necessarily raise her marriage value, her relationship value.
No, I agree. But when we get to the inner workings of what keeps that marriage going and keeps that man excited sexually, you want to be with that girl that is aware of what sexually excites you.
Yes, but that awareness doesn't come from anywhere but me.
I don't think that's true. Because there are certain things that you might not know you enjoy sexually that you haven't experienced before. And if you meet somebody who's experienced, they can offer you another sensation that you might not have felt otherwise.
I think that should be the woman's expectation on the man.
Men, what more for yourselves? What more for yourselves?
No, because
you wonder why women are like starfishing and just laying there.
Never have, never will. What we value is the lowest body count possible, along with some other things.
Well, I'm saying experience.
We're willing to deal with the dead fish as long as you're willing and have the capacity to learn.
Okay, when I'm saying experience, I'm not saying that you get that experience through multiple people. I'm not saying that's the only way that you can do that. Because to your point, lots of people have been having trash sex for years now, and they don't even know they're having trash sex because that's just been the normal thing in their life. And people don't communicate with their sexual partners when they aren't pleased, especially women. Women don't do a good job of saying like, hey, like, because you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. So then he goes on to the next person, and it's just like bad being passed around.
Yeah.
And same thing, men don't need you to do much. Like if we think about like the act, like yes, can you get it done regardless of what her level of expertise is? Yes.
Yes.
But if you want that to be a fulfilling and like one of your favorite parts of your relationships, then yes, you do need to work on that. And I'm going to go a step further and say that a person that has more experiences, and that doesn't have to be with multiple partners, that could be with the same partner, like you had a long-term partner and you were able to explore that, are going to be better prepared to give you what you want in that realm. Not saying that that's the end all be all to be married. I'm not saying like, yeah, you got to go out and know everything about sex, and the more people you sleep with, the more informed you will be, because again, you could have bad experience with multiple partners.
Yes.
But I don't think you should be like, hey, this girl, before she met me, this is what she did. So that means that she's damaged goods, or that she is worth less than a woman that didn't have sex.
In a man's mind, the higher the body count, the less valuable.
But why is that?
Because men are conquerors. We're highly competitive. We don't want what has already been conquered.
But couldn't you be competitive in saying like I was the one to bag her out of all of these people?
I think there's a multitude of factors within that, right? Like if you live in the same geographical place as when the place where she was conquered, it is less likely that the man will be able to get over going into an establishment and seeing all the other dudes that are in the establishment that have done conquered that island. But you brought up a very good point I wanted to touch on real quick. It was within the idea of how does the said person know that they're not experiencing good intercourse? Let me ask you a question. If you took I'm thirsty. Look at the pinky. Though.
Look at I'm weak.
I'm bougie. Anyway, if you took a person from 18...
Bougie with the red cup. It doesn't go together.
That's my own style. Anyway, if you took a person from 1850 and you brought them into 2021. Well, how about this? If you took a person in 1850 and you asked them about their life, do you think that on average the person would say, I have an enjoyable life or not an enjoyable life?
If you ask white men at any point in time, they will have an enjoyable life.
Okay.
If
you took that same 1850 human and you brought them, or if you take a person in 2021 and you brought them to 1850, would you think that person would say, I now have an enjoyable life or not an enjoyable life?
Not an enjoyable life.
So the analogy that I'm trying to wrap around here is sometimes it's okay not to know what you don't know, right? Us in 2021, we have enjoyable lives. But if we were raised in 3021, we'd look back at 2021 like these goddamn dirty Neanderthals. Look at it. They walked places. Like they didn't just teleport like us. You know what I'm saying?
Well, so might really be feeling that.
I feel you, but at the same time, I think the analogy still prevails in the sense that like if right, and I think that also speaks back to the study that I was talking about earlier, because if your expectations for life are here, but you have experienced before in your life here, because of the Chads, Tyrones blew the black completely out, but now you're expecting to blow the black out from someone who you want to marry somehow. I think that the prior expectations might reign negatively on this unnatural bond of marriage that goes to the rest of someone's life. Because now you're telling somebody, okay, you got the guts sufficiently dug out by these 6'2", 6-pack, 6 this, 6 that human being. But now you're settling, or you're more appropriately establishing your value for Jacob over here. And Jacob may not have the experience and or the accolades of the backbreakers that you've experienced before, the hip rearrangers that you've experienced before in your life. But you like them and you're thinking about eloping with them. And I think that when you change people's expectations on reality, they go forward in life and they expect those realities.
Yeah, so I think it depends on what's important to you, right? So stand on what is important to you in a partnership. So
low body count, it's important to me.
Okay, then you stand on that. But again, you just have to like rewire your mind. It's like, is a low body count important to me because I feel like that literally tells me that this woman is worth less, or is it because of my mind and my ego, my conqueror mindset, that it's like I would just feel better knowing that really it's mainly just me that has been with her. To your point, you don't know what you don't know. So why are you asking those questions? Like, yes, you want to make sure that you're safe, right? That you can have those questions like, when was the last time you've been tested? All these things, so that you're moving forward in a safe capacity. But why do you even need to know my body count? If I'm feeling you and you feeling me, like it doesn't matter.
I'm not saying that you need to know, but I'm saying is that you could tell from how they carry themselves on occasion. I mean, sometimes they can completely hide it, like without a doubt.
What do you think my body count is, by the way?
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how can you literally tell? Because some women, based on like
no, I agree with you.
Some people
they switch up,
and some people you think are like super promiscuous, and it's not them. And then the people
Usually
that you
right.
think are the virgins
or not the church girls.
So.
Yes.
So,
no, I agree with
you. You can't assume, right? But
if you live in the same block, in the same area, the same geographic, then you absolutely know.
There's whole facts, but that's different.
Exactly.
That's different. But then we're talking about optics, because I can have a high body count, and if I was discreet and discerning with who I decided to do that with, the world would never know.
I agree with you, which is why. Questions, comments, concerns, y'all already know what to do. Mediocre tutorials and reviews at gmail.com. Feel free to hit me up. I got an Instagram. Feel free to go up there and send me content, okay? And as well as I have a Patreon, all right? The Patreon is fantastic. Till next time, YouTube.